there are men that believes that all they need to do is just go out there and go make the money. The mother takes care of the children. What do you think about that?
I think that's a cultural thing. And I also think that it's an individual thing. There are a lot of people, men in the West, that's what they believe, that the job of a man is to go make big money and make sure that the house and the family are taken care of. The rest is secondary. We don't know better. And when you want to tell us what we don't know better, we are not ready to accept it if you say it the way that tells us we don't know better. We can do better if you tell us better. A lot of men just think that's the role of a man. Make sure the rent is paid, car is, house is paid, there's a house to sleep, there's food to eat, children have clothes, they pay school fees. That's it. I give it to my team in all of my years of work. I tell them, make your family your priority. Because the day you lose this job, it is that family that you will have.
That you will have.
You don't even know if the person has a split.
Con translated into together and the fleet as in like.
It's very, very, very exciting for me to be here and to be.
Because I was surrounded by people.
I'm all about making sure other people avoid the same struggles I dealt with. You know who you are. And being prepared can change your game.
Welcome back to another episode of SMOPPY'S World. I am your beautiful, ever-smiling host, Lady Ola. Today, we're diving into a topic that touches the hearts of so many. The intricate dance between fatherhood and motherhood. As we explore this journey together, we'll uncover the unique challenges, the triumphs, this perspective that shapes parenting in today's world. Whether you are a parent, planning to be one, or just someone interested in the dynamics of family life, this episode promises to be enlightening. We'll discuss everything from emotional connections and societal expectations to personal growth and the evolving roles of mothers and fathers. Today, guys, I am so thrilled to have my best friend here. He's my lover, he's my husband, and father of our 6 children. Dr. Segun Aigbogun is a pastor, he's a leader, and a food scientist. Guys, he recently retired and has started his own consulting company. I'm excited for him, called The Gathering. He brings a wealth of experience and insight into our conversation. Together, we'll ask the tough questions, guys. So to share personal stories and hopefully inspire each other to rethink what it means to be a parent in this ever-changing landscape. So please sit back, get a coffee, call a friend, relax, and let's embark on this journey of discovery together. Dr. Vic, I love it when you put that smile on. Welcome to SMOPPY'S World.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm always excited to have you on
Happy
this
to
show.
always be here.
We are inseparable now, huh? Now that you're retired.
We thank God for that.
Your children have been asking me, how are you coping with that, not going to work? And I've been telling them this is the best time actually that we're having together. We've spent all our years raising our kids and, running after them, chasing them, do homework, do that. Now is our time.
Wow. Interesting.
It's our time, right?
I know about our time. I think retirement is one thing.
Oh, really?
I'm still continuing to have responsibilities another. So,
okay.
How much of my hours in the day do you still get? I'm still buried in work, I'm buried in meetings, buried in reviewing proposals, and I still have to be busy.
Maybe you need to talk to us a little bit about The Gathering, your consulting company.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, let's start on that actually.
I think I'm grateful to God that I finally am able to kind of start something on my own, and the beauty of The Gathering company, registered in Dubai, free zone, is the fact that this organization is science-based. We're only going to be consulting.
Okay.
and we will help the food industry in the region and further away from it with problems.
Problem solver.
And that's what consultants do. The difference between what the gathering company brings to the table compared to any other consulting organization is not just the fact that we are filled with embodiment of experiences. It's an organization of experts in different fields of food science, from processing down to product development, innovation, brand enhancement, cost savings, value creation. However, this organization is going to help companies to spend their resources in what matters the most for them and use us for the things that they believe will take away from the things that matters most to them. What does that mean? So if you know, all my life, I use consultants.
Yes.
And most of the time, consultant comes in and you still have to use your employees to help the consultant navigate what they are trying to do. And then some of the projects that they are supposed to be working on is now lagging. That's not what the gathering wants to do. The gathering wants you to, as an organization, to look at us and say, you are a resource, and you take the project from beginning to the end. That way we don't have to be sharing our resources. We need you to focus on this so that our people can focus on what they are doing. That's what the difference we bring to the table.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm super excited for you in this season. Actually, I'm really, really excited. I've waited all these years for you to start your own company, but you finally got to it. Yeah, so it's never too late. It's God's timing.
Trust God.
Today we're going to be discussing on fatherhood versus motherhood. I remember how I felt when I was told that I was pregnant with my first child, and it was like I was over the moon, and I was like, God is actually trusting me with a child that I can actually nurture for him, and each child. After that, I thought, okay, because it was the first child. That's why I felt the way I felt. But when I had the second one, it was the same. When I had the third one, it was the same. When I had the fourth one, it was the same. I'm thinking, okay. So as we were discussing the other day, we were just having conversation, and I just wanted to know, how do you feel as a father, having your first child? Is it the same experience that I've had as a mother for each child? Is that your experience? So tell us a little bit about.
Look, I think when you start to get to a particular age and you are becoming responsible, and that consciousness of responsibility is really kicking into your manhood, okay, then your desire for fatherhood start to gradually kick in. For me, I don't believe that mothers and fathers have the same emotions attached to the expectation of being a mother compared to being a father. Right. I think the emotions are different. I think for the man, it's a mixed emotion. It's a mixed emotion that says, oh yeah, at least oh my God, I'm going to be a father, and the wife is pregnant, and you are imagining what the child is going to look like you. All of that emotions are there. However, overwhelmed with that emotion is that anxiety of, am I capable? Do I have what it takes to be a father? Because one great thing that defines a real man, word real man, is the capacity to not just be a husband,
come on,
but to be a father. And that comes with a very different responsibility that is all attached to that joy of having a child and the fear of, do I have what it takes to care for a wife and a child? And the more you add to that number, the more the interwoven joy and anxiety factors together becomes one of the things that men do face when a baby is on the way.
Interesting. Wow. Because for us mothers, when we get pregnant, because we are looking forward to the emotions that we have when we get pregnant for each child is unique. At least for me, each child was unique. The way I carried them, my connection with them in my womb and when they came out. So that has made me to start to wonder. I know men don't carry babies; we carry them. Do we? Is it the same with the emotions in the connection or not? But you've actually answered the question, correctly. That I'm really satisfied with what you said. So I want to ask you, how did your upbringing shape your views on fatherhood?
Right. I think every man will have to truthfully say how you were fathered will always play a role in how you become a father. So I spoke about the anxiety of the sense of responsibility. Now, if you have never been raised with a father or who speaks about these things to you, or you grew up to sense the burden and anxiety of a burden of care that a man has for his family, if you never grew in an environment like that, it's going to be a different thing for you, because that sense of responsibility will then be something you have to learn and something that you will have to eventually create your own. But for me, everything that has to do with my children are things that I play through my childhood with my father. They are the things I play through, the things my father said to me about me not being in a position to struggle like he's struggling to take care of my children. Those words were powerful words that shaped my way of life and thinking. It puts a lot of pressure on me to be very future conscious. It put a lot of pressure on me to want to achieve so I can give the best to my children. Those were not things I learned from friends or in college. Those are not things that I learned because I failed. Those are the things that I learned because my father struggled, and he showed so much compassion towards us with that really tearing eye sometimes that says, I know what you're supposed to have. I just couldn't give them to you. And those shaped the way many men will eventually relate to their children. And so, yes, your upbringing will play a significant role in fatherhood, in your ability to father your children.
We live in a world today where we hear the word baby mamas. We have many children who their fathers are not in their lives. We have young ones today who just sleep around and just make babies from different girls. And I'm baffled and I'm worried about what is going to become this generation, because for you grew up to enjoy the family of a father and a mother, and your dad, he has impacted your life one way or the other, that you want to model, you want to handle your children the way your father raised you and treated you. What do you say today, like to guys who doesn't want to have a wife, but just want to have children? And the same thing for to ladies that will say, oh, I can live by myself, I just need to have a child and then I don't need a man. Well, as a father, what would you say to someone like that? How important is a father in not just being a father outside, but how important it is? Because I've watched you in all the craziness, your past craziness and all going around and all that. One thing that I saw in you is that you never father a child without being in a relationship or being in marriage with the mother. So that is missing today. Please talk to us.
Right. So here is the most important thing that people don't always understand about the male gender growing up. The male gender growing up, it doesn't matter what generation, we are supposed to believe that we have responsibilities, right? So in that, we also have the tendency to don't wanting to have responsibilities. So a lot of times, men don't always believe that it is that they have a significant responsibility to play in the life of their children. And that even when you think you can do that, when you don't have the mother in the life of that child with you, or you with that child and the wife, you can never be able to play that fatherly roles in the best way you would love to. Why? Because there is an imbalance in information that flows towards the child as the child grows up. So the mother will tell the child informations, and if you are not in the life of the child, you will only have very little time to interact with that child, and therefore, whatever information, good or bad, he already received, takes a long time for you to be able to make him understand what it means to become a man for the male, and what it means to be protective of yourself as my female daughter. Because my role as a father to my daughter is different from my role as a father to my son. To my daughter is a protective role that says, this is how you carry yourself. This is who men are. And this is how you identify a real man from just a mere man. That is the role of a father to the daughter. But to my son, it's a role of you the man. You have to be the man. You must protect your family. And you must have everything it takes to protect your family. And most importantly, courage. that you must be able to stand up to everything, not just human being, to everything that threatens the existence of your children. That is what a father is to a son. Now, but when you are not having that consciousness of wanting to be a father, but you just want to have a kid or have children, then you will not be able to be who God has created you to be as a father.
I went in like I'm in his space. So what I'm hearing you saying is the role of a father is so important in the life of a child.
I have, as you know, I have one or two of our children that I never really have a significant time of their life and me being in their lives. You always know that has always been a concern for me. And it's not because I'm just this emotional person. No, that's not who I am. It's just that I want them to not see what happened with me to them as ideal. That's my worry. It's always my worry for me to say, look, the fact that something happened between your mother and I never get to spend the most chunk of time of my life that I want to spend with you. It's not an ideal thing. And that the fact that I don't have a way of communicating that to him to say, son, what I did or what happened to us was not ideal. All right, so it's important that you consider that when you become a man, that you know that if the marriage breaks up, you lose that privilege of fulfilling your long-time dream of the kind of relationship you want to have with your child. These are things that men struggle with, that many people think they just love it. No, it's my struggle. It's my life struggle. That's one of my pain that I can't change. But the fear with that is, would my son then think that is an ideal thing? And I hope not, because it's a painful thing.
Yeah, it's I don't even know how to say this, but in your situation, it wasn't that you deliberately walk out of these sons. And this is what I always say to people, that we should never allow the root of bitterness that we have towards each other as husband and wife,
Absolutely.
to grow and use that towards our children, because those children they didn't do anything wrong, and whatever happened between us, it's us. But most of the time, what happened is it's always the children that have to suffer it, because one parent is bitter. One parent just want to turn the heart of those children against their father. I, as a mother, we see things differently from the way father sees things. When things are not going right with us, our primary focus is those children, and sometimes we get out of our way, or we let our emotion, maybe I should use our emotion, we let our emotion override us, forgetting the fact that, no matter how bitter we are, these children, they still need a father. This person is still their father. For us to put our differences beside and let these children, enjoy the fatherhood. So there are many today who are being deprived. There are many men today who are actually. We just had a conversation, a podcast conversation not too long ago before this show. We were talking about how some women are using their children to manipulate the situation, stopping the father from seeing his children, having to demand some crazy stuff, having to put a demand that if you want to see your children, you have to do this, you have to do that. So we're just talking about that, and that kind of got to me like, do we think about these children when we decide to go on a separate ways? Nobody plans for divorce. Nobody ever say, I'm going to this relationship so that I can get divorced. But things happen, and when things happen, it's important for me as a person. I've always wanted a family, because when I was growing up, I didn't have a family. I didn't have a father and a mother, and that has always been my desire. That I want to raise my children in. And I've watched you. You are a great father.
Thank you.
Yeah, you are a great father. Not because we're in front of camera, but that's who you are, because that's the truth. You are a great father, and I see the way your children care so much about you, the love you poured into them, and giving them, making them comfortable around you, not being this old age father that you're always putting command. You cannot do this, you cannot do that. You always give them that space to approach you and love you, and they love you dearly. So there are many men out there who don't know how to be a father. They really don't know how to be a father. It's whether maybe it could be because of the way they grew up. It may have to do with their foundation, anything, but they just don't know how to be a father. So that kind of a person is watching. I want to be a father, but I really don't know how to be a father. I really don't know how to, show this love. I really don't know how to, what to do with these children. But I really want to be a father. What would you say to them? What advice would you give them? What can you?
It is God's will. Can I speak like a pastor for
Go ahead. You're a pastor, by the way. Anyway, you're a pastor. Go ahead.
It is God's will that fathers will find their rightful place in the life of their children. In the realms of the spirit, there are no genders. There are no male or female in the spiritual realm. Our spirits are the same, whether you are a male or you are a female. The first thing I would say to a father is the fact that you have to understand who you represent. So God, every story you just talked about, everything you just mentioned, happened between God and man. God wants to father us. So he wants to father the man he created. And his name was Adam. He wanted to father him. How do I know that? He created a place for him. He created provisions for him. He identified his most precious need, companion, and he created one for him. So, fatherhood is best understood when you know that all God wanted to be to mankind is fatherhood. So, first you must know how to ask God on how to be a father. I wish I knew that long time ago. Maybe it would have been better for me. There are 3 things you will know about God as a father. he never, for once, left his children. His son, Adam, messed up. And therefore, everything that came out of Adam is supposed to mess up. But God never left his children, even in the worst of their mistakes. 2, he wants his children to be free. If you saw what he did with Adam from creation, he gave him freedom. He asked him to be free. You can be the best father you can be when your children find a sense of freedom through you. And the best way you allow them to understand freedom is to allow them understand consequences. But you can't let the consequences that life will bring to your children be tripled by your own insupportive attitude that when they fail, they don't find your embrace. That's not God. Fatherhood is a spiritual thing. So that's why you find that some women might have the feminine hormones, but they have the spirit of a father.
Yeah.
All right?
Yes.
Because there is no difference in the spirit that is called gender. Female, angel, and no. God, there is no female God and a male God. God is just a spirit. And those who worship him must worship him in spirit. So to be a father, you are taking after your father. And he can teach you how best to be a father. So he never left them. He allowed them to be free. And he was ready to embrace them in their mistake. That is the real true anchors of fatherhood. Provision, protection, lead, direct, all of that are given. You can't lead and direct someone that is not free to be around you. So you look at what happened when Adam messed up and God showed up. He didn't leave him in the mess.
Yes.
So that's why I tell my children, you're going to learn a lot of things. For me to say, oh, you can't drink, oh, you can't get out, you can't go out, you can't. Well, when you left home, what happens? You were still the child. Your mother poured so much into that your father showed how much he cares about your future. And that is the child you're still going to be. But you can destroy everything about a child by destroying their self-esteem from home. So, to be a good father, you start with being a real man.
Okay. So the question I was going to ask you, next was, I wanted to talk about cultural influences.
Yeah.
Like, in your own opinion, how do societal expectations shape our understanding of what it means to be a good mother or father? Because we were talking about father, so what do you, what shapes our understanding of what, who a good mother or a good father should be?
Well, I sincerely believe that parenting is a model that comes from God. And therefore should not have any cultural barriers. However, because what is ethical to a particular culture is unethical to another. All right?
Yes.
So that then changes the dynamics of how we raise children and how we define who a good father is and who a good mother is. Someone from Africa, if he watches the movie of me raising my children, would think I'm irresponsible. think I'm a bad father? If I watch the way my father raised me, an average person will look at my father and say, my father isn't an African. An African man needs to beat the hell out of you and get the devil out of your chest. But that was not my father. That was not the way I was raised. And so when I eventually start to live in the West and imbibe the Western culture, I also couldn't even find it challenging. No, I didn't.
Yeah,
Because
your father.
my father never for once raised his hand on me. My father will always tell us how important it is that we know that he's not here forever. And that we must shape our life in a way that we can give the best to our children that he couldn't give us. That is all he has to say. And that sink into my entire system. So yes, culturally, in Africa, especially in Nigeria, our fathers are fathers. Your father shows up in the room, you disappear. That's right. That's cultural. That's culturally the way it's supposed to be. But it's not something that should be limited by culture. Parenting, male and female, doesn't exist in it. It's God's model. It's anchored in a father that does not want to leave his children out of his sight, irrespective of what they've done and what have they done it. It's a father that wants to give his children the freedom to be able to discover themselves. And it's a father that will not leave his children in their mistake. The embrace of his love will always be there.
Yeah, that's powerful. What was going through my mind is the story of men that I know. Now I want to talk about parenting and the balance, navigating your career and families and having to the balance. There are men, especially in African culture, that believes that all they need to do is just go out there and go make the money. The mother takes care of the children. Are you in support of that? What do you think about that?
I think that's a cultural thing. And I also think that it's an individual thing. There are a lot of people, men in the West, American, British, German, who that's what they believe. That the job of a man is to go make money and make sure that the house and the family are taken care of. The rest is secondary. But we have to learn it to create that balance. It has to be things. Can I just say this to women?
Yeah.
We don't know better. And when you want to tell us what we don't know better, we are not ready to accept it if you say it the way that tells us we don't know better.
Yeah. It's always your approach, isn't it?
So we can do better if you tell us better. A lot of men just think that's the role of a man. Make sure the rent is paid, cars, house is paid, there's a house to sleep, there's food to eat, children have clothes, they pay school fees. That's it. It's time to go to the game of this town. I have to be at work. Sometimes you can take off. I give it to my team in all of my years at work. I tell them, make your family your priority. Because the day you lose this job, it is that family that you will have.
That you will have.
So nobody can walk into my office and said, I have to go to my son's game and I'll say there is a meeting. That meeting needs to change. I sometimes don't have such a boss. But there has to be a way to manage. So let's bring it back to, sometimes it's cultural, but if you as a wife knows that this is the best thing for your family, your husband needs to think just beyond, I made everything available, what else do you want me to do? There has to be a way to explain it to him where the values, those additional things are as you become a father raising your children. When I moved to the Middle East, I became very short of them. I was buried to my work.
Because it was demanding then.
And it was very demanding. But I love my children.
And they love you. They love you. The reason why I kind of raised that is their mothers are being overwhelmed by, taking care of those children. They are the one that they run to when they are sick. They are the one that they run to when things are not going right. It's always mom this. And then the father only just go to work and come back and even when the father is sitting down there, they don't go to the father. They still run to mother. And it doesn't matter what mama is doing. Mama will have to leave it and run towards that child and make sure that she gives that love and comfort and everything to that child. And it can be very, very overwhelming and demanding, and also can also look like I'm the only one that is raising these children. All you do is just to go to work and make money. And sometimes those children, they tend towards their mother more. And that's why sometimes when we see all these celebrity, they're having their awards, some of them, it's not that their father is not physically there. That was not physically there, but he was there but was not there. So they're always, giving all the credit. Oh, I want to thank my mother. I want to do this. And for me, I think there has to be a balance.
Yes.
There has to be a balance. Our father needs to help us to create a balance. We thank God that you are the head of the home. You're making money and we're praying for you. But we also need your support with the children. For example, I am not a science student. I'm not a science. I have nothing to do with science. You are the science guru. So when one of our kids comes home and say he has science homework, they have to do physics, they have to do chemistry. I know nothing about those. So there's no way I can, as a mother, can help that child, but the father. But whenever you come home and they present it to you and say, I'm struggling in this area, Dad, can you help me? You will sit down and you will teach them through. It's so important. I just want our audience to look at it and create a balance, in the family, because we are both, like you said, there's no gender in the spirit. we are both given these children to nurture and raise. So,
like, I still think we are trying to forget that culturally, it is not just women that are housewives in the West. That there are house husbands who their job is what you just described that the mother is doing. They are the one the children know. Because the moment the family decide and say, Mama, your income is good for all of us. Daddy says, I want to be the house husband. You see the switch. mother tends to do a little bit better, but it's very close in the way it's handled. Because for a woman to say, you stay home, I work, is a lot of pressure and work. You come back from that work, you still have that work in your head, no matter how you try to get rid of it. You were talking to me about you need to go have a meeting last night. I mean, yesterday and the night before, you couldn't sleep. You were playing that meeting in your head.
Yeah.
Think of how many times I have to play things like that in my head all night. In readiness for a board meeting, in readiness for a presentation, in readiness to answer the question my boss just threw at me that I didn't know where that came from, on my way from work, and I need to go see him in the office in the morning and tell him and give him all the answers. Think of the fact that I had a ruffle moment with the chairman when I was leaving the office, and I came home and I don't know if I'm going to have a job the next day, and I'm going to have to go to his office and have this conversation. All of those things are the things that make those kind of things so challenging. You don't want to take that pressure on your children when you come back from work. So you want to kind of find a way to go bury yourself, eat, take a shower, and disappear into your bedroom or go watch TV as if you want to get rid of those things. But, like you said, they are not ideal. Just because we have a job doesn't mean we don't have a family. And it's not just the provision. It's not just, how do you allow your children to learn freedom if you are not interacting with them when you come back from work? Understanding how it went to school, understanding what the teacher, how they are dealing with teachers, challenges, and giving them the room to be able to tell you something they've done wrong without you having to overjudge them. It's because you make time. And so the balance has to be there.
The balance has to be there. We both have different roles to play in the life of our children, as a mother and as a father. And if one is lacking, it affects the other one.
True.
That's what I would like to just leave with our audience for us to kind of create a balance in the way we parent our children, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the future of parenting. Evolving roles. Like, how do you see the roles of mothers and fathers evolving in the next generation?
Actually, it's already here. Because technology has helped shape different things, and that includes parenting. And I think what I would recommend is to make sure we understand the line when that evolution starts. AI is going to participate in parenting.
Oh my God.
AI is going to participate. You're going to have to engage AI at a point.
AI, by the way, how do I counsel my child?
AI, go and pick my child from school.
From school.
Now, the truth about it is that we must understand that our emotional connection with one another is evolving. The phone has come and it's evolved. It's not going to get better. But with God, all things
are possible. Okay. So as we round up, what advice would you give to new parents about balancing the distinct between balancing and yet complementing roles of motherhood and fatherhood? What advice would you give based on your experience now and how
I think it's about everything we said today. You made the choice Be intentional about it. There is no ideal way of doing anything. We all have our unique ways. Define that your unique way and be intentional about it. What do you want to give to your children? What exactly do you want them to have when you finally no more here? Those are things that will shape your mind around how you start to build. You have a long time as a new couple. You have another 25 years to be in the life of that child, whether you like it or not. They will tell you in the West it's 18. Well, they'll move it to 21. Now it's 25.
They stuck with you forever.
So you have to, but for the moment that you need to give them everything you need to give them, you have that time. But it looks like a long time, but it's a short time. And remember, some things are not reversible. You can't catch that time. You can't recall it.
Yes, sir.
And so make the best moment of it. The second thing is, please have the number of children you can care for. Family planning was not an archaic idea. Quality of life is best determined by number. So think about it as young couples. Think of how many children you can truly be able to give a real quality life to.
True.
Don't let no pressure push you to numbers of children you can take care. You want to space them? Space them. You want to rush them? Rush. But the truth about it is, know the number. And don't make no mistake. Don't make no mistake. Okay? And God bless.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it feels like we should just stay here and not go home.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. It's always a blessing having you here.
Thank you.
I think you and I need to have a show.
Okay.
Yeah.
We should have a show.
We think about that, right?
We'll think about that. As far as food science is involved and preaching is involved.
We'll talk about everything. Don't worry about it. We'll cook it together. Oh, guys, and that wraps up another enlightening episode of SMOPPY'S World. Thank you so much to Dr. Victor for joining us today and sharing valuable insights into these beautiful complexities of fatherhood. And we've actually covered so much ground, from the emotional connections that binds us to the social expectations that shape our parenting styles, and even the lessons we learn along the way. It's clear that while the paths of mothers and fathers may differ, our shared goal remains the same: to nurture and support our children as they grow into their unique selves. So, if you've enjoyed today's conversation, don't forget to subscribe, share it, like it, and leave your review. Your feedback helps us grow and inspires us so much to bring in more amazing guests and topics to the table. And remember, whether you're a parent, a future parent, or just someone navigating life's challenges, the parenting journey is a shared adventure filled with love, laughter, and learning. Stay curious, keep exploring, and join us next time on SMOPPY'S World, where we continue celebrating the stories that connect us all. Take care, and until the next time, remember, love yourself and each other. And if you have never heard anybody say this to you, let me be the one to say it to you. I love you, and I believe so much in you to make the best out of life. God bless.